The year is 1969. Great events are happening. Richard M. Nixon is President of the United States. The Vietnam War is at its peak. Students demonstrate against the war. Man sets foot on the moon. And in Cleveland, Ohio, another historic event takes place. SuperHost premieres on Channel 43. The TV industry is never the same. And now, 20 years later, to mark one of Cleveland's longest-running shows, your host for tonight's program, the man of the hour, SuperHost.
Hello there, and welcome to my 20th anniversary special. Say, looking at that open, it seems like 1969 was just a few years ago. And time sure flies when you're having fun. Right, Super Boss? Anyways, Soup brought out the old scrapbook. And we'll take a look at how it all got started right after this. 43 was just 1 year old. We'd recently moved out of the bowling alley next door and into this new and modern studio on D Drive in Parma. Well, Soup had been working as the station pronouncer and floor director. Now, floor director, that's the guy that stands around on the floor out in the studio with a clipboard and a headset on in communication with the control room, and he tells the people out in the studio what to do, okay? I was doing that on a show called The Big Beat Dance Party, and I was standing out here and they were adjusting the lighting on me, and people in the control room, the director was telling me that I was unzipped, and the studio was full of people, and I got embarrassed, and I must look real funny because I could hear them laughing in the control room. So anyway, the boss came up and asked me to come up with an idea for a character to host a movie on Saturday afternoon. And a lot of people and myself got together one night and we did a pilot show. And that was the creation of SuperHost. And we were never supposed to air this, but here's a little bit of that pilot show that we did on that Sunday night at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances completely within our control, Channel 43, in its continuing effort to bring you the best, has spared every expense to bring you SuperHost. Mild-mannered television director Henry Brookerstein utters the magic word, sponsor, and become SuperHost.
Hi. Hi. I'm SuperHost, and I host a movie. And I have got a whole bunch of telegrams here from people congratulating me on my new show. For instance, here's one that says, "Dear SuperHost, I'm so happy to hear about your new show. Signed, Joe Skuniak." And here's one that says, "Monsieur Aimé," signed, Charles D. Crowley. Never heard of him. Here's one, "So happy you have a new show all to yourself," signed, Brandon DeWilder. Here's one. "Do you remember that night in Mallorca?" Signed, Raquel Welch. Now we have one from a guy by the name of Nixon. "Dear SuperHost, if you ever get to Vietnam, be sure to remind them that my policy there is..." Signed, Dickie. Well, I just want to tell you that, folks, we got a great show for you, and later on in our show, we're expecting some great guests. For instance, says Greer Garson, Rory Calhoun, Perry Como, Henry Fonda, Brigette Barnett, and Funny tough? Anyway, here's tonight's movie. It's called Attack of the Crab Monsters.
Well, Soup hasn't changed much. Still the young, thin, handsome guy I've always been. Say, now we're going to show you the end of the pilot show, or the close we did on that, and in that we thanked everybody in the whole world. Take a look.
Well, folks, that's all. You saw it. That's the end of our star-studded flick for today. You know. Next week we'll have another movie of the same caliber, about 16 millimeters. Okay? Right now it's time to say the magic word, sponsor.
In 1969, we had 3 directors here. Channel 43, there was Henry Briggs, Brooks Bektorski, and Harry Cooperstein. Now, I took all those names and kind of smooshed them all together to come up with Henry Brookerstein. That's Soup's alter ego. Sharon DeLuca helped on the pilot. She since became a successful TV salesperson in Florida. Paul McCauley, who was a cameraman on the pilot show, became a policeman in Akron, Ohio. And Chuck Downey, who was the announcer, writer, technician, and a lot of other stuff, is now technical director and nighttime supervisor here at Channel 43. Dave McGrail, a cameraman, is currently directing the Regis and Kathy Lee show in New York City. And George Collins, who helped write and produce the pilot, is now a pilot. Yeah, and technical director, too, in Florida. Brooks Bektorski, who directed the pilot show and also helped make my super suit, is now station manager at Channel 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't have time to name everybody who helped, but I certainly want to thank everybody.
This has been a Group 43 production, not in cooperation with United Artists. This is Arthur Adnoid speaking. On the and up, roll up to it, what's up?
Next, we'll take a look at some of Soup's very first comedy bits. But first, these messages. First got started, we covered just about everything in the way of comedy. And some of the very first bits we grouped under the title of Famous Inventors. And here's just one of them. It's called Thomas Edison Host. Hello? Hello? Boy, that bit was old. It wasn't even in color. But here's something in color. Soup's debut on the keyboard. We call this bit The Pianist.
In honor of the fact that the Metropolitan Opera is coming to Cleveland, SuperHost, to honor this great musical aggregation, now brings you a super classical presentation.